All right, and welcome back to Mastering Sales with Brent Gove. Good to see you guys. So today I want to do, I don't know how old you guys are, but the 1980s. Yes, some of you were born then. Some of you were not born until the 90s or 2002. But anyway, so there's a ABC News, ABC Sports had this thing called The Thrill of Victory, The Agony of Defeat. And of course, Coach Bill Rapp is smiling. He remembers that. He's the only one who knows. Maybe Carmen seems to be smiling up. Carolyn remembers The Thrill of Victory, The Agony of Defeat. So this is what my topic is going to be today. I want to hear stories of victory. So we have the buyer broker situation with NAR. You have to fight for your commission on every deal and every house showing. So I want to hear some victories from you guys. Who goes, yeah, I was able to talk to the seller. I was able to negotiate 2.5%, 3%, 3.5%, 4%. I want to hear you. Do not be shy. I want to hear some victories first. I'm slobbering. Then we're going to do the agony of defeat. I want to hear some like, man, I showed property. We wrote the offer. The seller would not pay a dime. I backed away, let the buyer of the property. It was $900,000 sale. I made nothing. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do what's called a forensic audit and go, what could have been done differently? What could we do to save your commission in the future? And I want you guys to teach each other. I actually want to hear from you, Carmen, Tristan, Tom, Coach Bill, Tahoe Tony, Noel Kreider. I want to hear from you guys, like help each other. So this can be super helpful. So if you go down to your little thing below here and you hit react, you hit the little react button and then you hit raise my hand. If you'll see, did I do it? I'm trying to hit react. Yep, I think I did it. So Carmen did it, but did I not do it? Where is it? Raise my, did my hand go up? Maybe because I'm the host. Recognize hand gestures, playing. I don't
I'm
know.
still challenged. Mine says play chime for raised hands or recognize hand.
Maybe it's a different place. Where'd you go to raise your hand, Carmen? What was yours called?
Reactions, where you said
reactions. Mine just says react. That's weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
okay.
Same, Brent. I'm on the same page. Carmen, would you teach me how to do that later?
It's the same button, react. If you hit react, it'll say raise hand.
Yeah, it used to say reactions, but yeah, there's no raise hand.
Mine isn't telling me that. Okay, I'll figure it out later. Carmen,
yeah, okay.
I'm talking to you.
All right, enough said. So back to Carmen. So this is the thrill of victory. Carmen, tell us a good story about doing a buyer broker negotiating with the seller.
I always present my offers with 3%.
Okay.
And basically, usually in Maryland, we have 2.5, and they are coming back with 2.5, but I present my 3%.
So how are you doing that? Are you filling out a commission form direct to the seller? You were to pay 3% on this with the offer. And they're coming back in the counter offer saying we won't pay 3, but we'll pay 2.5.
Correct. Yeah, I use the 2 forms from EXP that goes straight from the seller to the brokerage. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. It's very good. So she's just like, hey, this is no big deal. Now you're doing a buyer broker with your clients and go, my fee is 3%. If they offer 2.5, you're allowed to take that. But if you do 2.5 and they offer 3, you can't have the 3 because your buyer broker says up to 2.5. So you got to make sure you get enough to make sure that, okay, good. Thank you, Carmen. Tristan, let's hear it, baby. What are you doing?
So, well, the news for us has been really positive since everything's changed, and we are just jamming. Nobody seems to have a care in the world about the changes. I think we just put our 16th, Rick and I, 16th pending together today, and we're as busy as ever. Nobody's really kicking back on the commission. It's business. It's either business as usual or business is better. I was talking to Leo at Build in Charlotte, and he was saying it's looking like, you know, people are actually, in a lot of cases, cementing more commissions. So we're very positive about it. And I don't think most of the public want to put themselves at a disadvantage and not offer seller compensation. And so we're just running along, and business is good.
Very good. Thank you. I want everyone, what is the compensation traditionally offered in Hilton Head where you work, Tristan?
90% of what we've done in the past has been 3%, and occasionally on the higher end properties we drop to 2 or 2.5. I have a $16 million listing. I'm offering a 3% co-broke, and I'm taking 2 just because he was tough on me. He's like, hey, you're making enough money on that anyway. So sometimes that happens. The 2% co-brokes don't fly here. 2.5 maybe. What do you think, David? 10% of the market maybe?
So you would do 2, then 2.5 to the buy side. Is that what you're saying?
No, I would typically try and always do 3% to the buy
right,
side.
right. But in this case, he was tough on you. You agreed to do it for 2, but you would have fought for 2.5 on the co-broke side if that.
I fought for 3. I fought for 3 because what I did is I took the top 20 most expensive properties in our market, because he was adamant that he only paid 4 because it's a $16 million listing, and I said, look, this is not about my money. This is about you not being competitive in the marketplace. And so we went through the top 20 properties, and there were only 2 that weren't 3% co-brokes, because I was fighting for that 3% co-broke more.
No, they can take their client and go buy a different house, and trust me, you're reaching into their pocket, and they're like, I don't care. This is a rich guy or whatever. So you're able to. So you just did this recently. So that's even with the NAR thing. You said you need to be prepared to pay 3. So you kind of mentally prepare him to pay 3, even though you can't put that.
Well,
right.
To be fair, I did discuss that before the NAR thing. That was just that wouldn't have really made a difference.
But you could still do it now after the NAR thing. I would definitely prep your clients. Like, they're going to request, it's going to be 3 of the last 16, 14 were 3, only 2 were 2.5. And people have choices. If you had a $16 million client, would you fight for the home that's 2 or 3? I mean, I realize, like, well, I do what's best for the client. I realize that, but you think everybody's a Boy Scout? They're going to go, which one do you like better? Well, I kind of like that one better. You know what I mean? That one there, but the 2% commission, they're not going to say that. I hear street noise. Really, I can hear street noise. I hear the transformer. Do you hear that buzzing? Yeah, I do. I do hear it now that you mention it. Yeah, that's probably like radiation. I mean, your kids could grow 30, or, I don't know what they're going to say, but you don't want them doing that on a $16 million sale. We're a pathway to 3%. So I would fight for the 3% for the co-broke now harder than ever. And don't let them think they're getting off the hook, because you're going to get this great offer, $15,500,000, and they're going to fight over a commission. And it's stupid. So good for you, Tristan. Love it.
I think one of the things, Brent, that I've really thought about a lot lately is I think we are very blessed that this market has softened and the inventory has climbed, and now there are more competition for the buyers, which made our transition into this a lot easier.
Okay, so I have a question for everybody. I want you to do 3 things in the chat. I want to see this. I want to know what your average sales price is where you live. So write 350, 650, 950, $1.2 million, whatever it is. Just, it's not science. Just, you go with your gut. I also want to, so I want to see, like, say, for example, 500,000. I want to know what the commission has traditionally been on the buyer side. 2, 2.5, or 3. It's probably going to be one of those numbers. I want to see that. And then you could start typing it now. So Melanie put 350. Put, Melanie, what you think the traditional, co-broke has been in the MLS. So Melanie's haven't seen Melanie's co-broke commission yet. I'm looking for it, Melanie. I try to put it all in one line so we don't have to go looking for you. So put the average sales price, what the commission has been. I would like to see that. So if we got 402, wow. Coach Bill, 402, living in Wyoming. That too is shocking. 903 from Tristan, $1 million, 2.5 to 3 from David. Melanie, 2.75, and she's the one who had 350. Tom, 502 to 2.5. That's what you. So that's interesting. Tahoe Tony, 2.4 million, but you didn't put the typical commission. I want to know the average commission, Tony. Let's see if he puts it there. 2.5. Okay. So here you could start. You could start going from 2, 2.5 to 3. You could actually get 3. So let me ask you another question. I'm going to go to Bill. He's been waiting patiently, but I'm going to ask you a question. Here's a question. I'll tell you now, so you can think about it. Do you negotiate your commission up front before you even show that property? Like, I'm not coming unless I know you're paying me. And they go, well, then I'm not paying you. Then good, I'll take mine. We're not coming. I'm going to go show 9 other properties. You are off the show list. Okay, I'll pay you, but it depends on how good the offer is. No, I don't work like that either. My fee is 3%. If you're willing to pay 3%, I'll bring my client. They're great. If you're not willing to pay 3%, I got 9 other properties to show. I got 5 other properties to show. You will be the last property I show. And so are you negotiating before you even show the property with the seller? That's what NAR wants you to do. They want you to negotiate with the seller for your commission. I personally would never show a property unless I knew what my commission was going to be. And you got to cover that with your clients early on. Either you pay the 3% or the seller pays it. The seller's always paid it. The big NAR settlement says we want the buyer to have the option to pay it. So, Mr. Buyer, do you want to pay my 3% fee on $900,000? It's 27 grand. No, I don't want to pay that. I said, okay. So I'm telling you, I'm going to negotiate with the seller, which is what the whole NAR, I have to. It's either you pay or the seller pays. Seller pays it all day long. You just talked to a friend of mine at Hilton Head. 14 out of 16 sellers paid 3%. This is very normal. And but I need to check with you first. That's what this NAR thing is about. I'm gonna write 3% in there, and then you go after it and you stand up for yourself and don't back down. Coach Bill, go ahead.
You know, it's interesting because some years ago, we've been stuck in this 4-2 situation, listings getting 4 and 2% going to the buyer. And I worked in my contracts to let's influence it by behavior. And so we were offering 3% buyer commission. Did it for a couple of years, lost a lot of commission that way because nobody else would reciprocate. And
so you were doing 3-3 instead of a 4-2.
We were. And so then we would even have the discussion when we're presenting an offer, hey, would you move this up to the 3? And they're like, no, they're happy to sell our listings all day long, but they weren't happy to share the other way. And it was like, you know, just trying to get people into that mindset of let's be a little bit more equitable this way with everyone in the industry.
I've never heard of that. I've been doing this 27 years. I've never heard of a market where the listing commission's 4. I would personally love that. And then the buyer side 2, you know, it sucks if you're a buyer's agent, but that is interesting. So it's great. The old way for me to go to Bill's client and say, hey, I want 3, that was that's called a ethics violation. We were not allowed to go to Noel Kreider's client up in West Auburn and go, I need you to pay me 3. It was an ethics violation. You know, it just wasn't something. Now they're saying, go do this. And so I love it. And so you got to be tough. You got to be strong. You got to say, I got cash buyer from the Bay Area. I'm not willing to bring him at 2.5. I will bring my buyer at 3. In fact, this buyer's so good, I'll do it at 4. My fee is 4. You don't want to pay it. I get 16 other properties to look at. My fee is 4%. You got to be tough. Get that seller. You know, whatever your fee is, it's up to you. Some people think they're worth 2. Some people work for minimum wage. I would never work for minimum wage. Does that make me a bad person? Some CPAs file your taxes for $350. Other are $3,500, 10 times more. Which one's the bad guy? No, people get what they feel they deserve. Tony Robbins always says, set higher expectations. Set higher expectations. Bill, I cut you off. Go ahead. You were saying something.
No, that's good. So this change actually allows us to set that fee with our buyers. We have the conversation. The industry has changed. We're at 3% or 4%, depending on what we're doing with that buyer. And then we have the conversation that we're going to request this from the seller. And the seller may agree to pay the full 3 or 4%. They may not. And then if they don't, then that'll just be additional closing cost for the buyer to cover. And we've not had one person balk at it. So
there you go. We're going to get through it. Okay, good. The other question I wanted to ask, and I had forgotten, how many of you found like Tristan O'Grady and Hilton Head? They're going to do $300 million this year. Formed a team 2 years ago, and this year they'll close $300 million in its second year. It's just never heard of that. A lot of firsts, and that's pretty amazing because he has a cool James Bond 007 accent. You know, not all of us are blessed with a cool voice. You know, we can justify anything, right, guys? I can. I mean, he sounds cool. But here's the deal. In the chat, is your volume, are you seeing inventory growing, the same, or declining, less inventory? Everyone in the chat real quick, what's your gut? Is the inventory growing? Type the word growing. Is the inventory the same? Same inventory. So days on market. I'm not talking days on market, guys. I want to know about inventory, not days on market. Is inventory growing or is it staying the same? So I got growing, and sitting there, growing slightly, I just want to get a feel for what you guys are feeling across North America, because you guys are all over. Yeah. You got a increasing. What else? Anybody else? What's your gut? Did everyone type something there? Okay, so I didn't see any declining. Do you guys notice that? There was not one person that said declining. Most everyone said the inventory is growing. So that's good, because I think we needed some inventory, which works out great if you're representing buyers. We got choices. If you don't want to pay me, I'm down the road. I'll go somewhere else. Now, of course, the entry level is always tough. And there's and I'm seeing condos are increasing. That's fascinating. Okay, so we got that. So there was, remember, this was the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. So I didn't save much time for this, but who's struggling with this and would like me or others to kind of help you have a breakthrough, and you're struggling getting your commission from the seller. Maybe you wrote a deal and you didn't even get paid. Tom, I saw you unmuted yourself. Does that mean you have a question, or you want to make a comment here?
Sorry, I didn't know. I know.
Okay. It's Tom's birthday, everyone. Happy birthday, Tom Costello, today. Dude, that is awesome. He would not tell me how old he was. I tried hard. He wouldn't tell me. He's so funny about that. I'm 58. Be
Silly,
proud.
he should tell.
Just
Happy
own it.
birthday anyway.
He's a baby. All right, come on. Who wants to share a struggle? You showed property and you didn't even get paid, and or you're struggling to communicate with the sellers. Anybody want to, or you heard of an agent who did the deal and never got paid? Anybody want to chime in on this? You guys all like the thrill of victory. No agony of defeats, no stories we can help you with.
Well, I had an unlisted property that I shared because I did the commercial side and I couldn't do the realty side, and they kind of went behind my back pretty much. I lost the commission on it. So I told them it was unlisted.
Oh, so you had a buyer and they went, it wasn't
I had
listed.
no,
And
I
they
actually
went-
it's hard to find property on the water here, and I knew
Oh.
it was coming, and I let them know, and I said you can't you need to include me in this, and they didn't.
Yeah. So
And
again, I'm
they
trying to
went
get
right
clarity.
they went right to the owner, to the agent, and I didn't get paid on it.
Yeah. So that's why you have to sign a buyer broker with your clients and lock them down.
Well, that's why I'm becoming a BIC, and I'm doing both sides. That's exactly why.
You gotta do that buyer broker. It's gonna protect you. What I always tell people before, when it wasn't required in California, if you're losing your clients and they're going around you and going straight to the seller or straight to the listing agent, you better learn how to do buyer broker. And
Well, this was my daughter's marrying into a real estate family. That tells you what kind of family she's moving into. I'm praying for it, because they did that to me knowing I would be an in-law. So I should have protected myself anyway. I think when it's business, friends and family, you still should protect yourself.
there
Right?
you go.
That
There
was
you
my
go.
lesson.
All right. So as I was saying, if you're losing people, do the buyer broker. Now we all have to do it now. So we all have to do it, which I think is great, because people on the East Coast are like, you guys are crazy. It'd be like, and we're like, no, you guys are crazy. Buyer broker's weird, but how many of us think it's weird to have a listing without a listing agreement? That's weird. And so it's only weird because you're not used to driving on the left side of the road. Like in Europe, right? We drive on the right side of the road here. And so it's weird till it isn't. And so personally, I couldn't be happier about the change. And so I hope today what Coach Bill said and Tristan said, and I did give you some more points on this. I think it's what you expect. I liked what Carmen said. If she's still here, she just wrote that offer, submitted the thing for 3%. She's getting 2.5%. I like it. But I would say don't be afraid to tell people you're going to take your buyer elsewhere. Make sure you tell that listing agent, hey, tell your seller, I got a cash buyer from New York. I got a cash buyer from West Palm Beach. I got a cash buyer from LA, San Francisco. Your home's perfect for them. But I'm not going to work for 2% or 2.5%. My fee is 3%. If you want to pay me 3%, I will bring them. Simple as that. And then reverse the FOMO. Then like, okay, fine, we'll pay 3%. That's what you want. You want them to pay you. All right. Have a great day, everyone. I'll be on next week, and I will be on from Fiji. It'll be about 3:00 in the afternoon, I think, in Fiji, or maybe noon. I don't know. I'm 19 hours ahead in Fiji. So I'm hoping I'll be on. If for some reason I'm doing a Tony Robbins Life and Wealth event in Fiji. I'm at Tony's Resort, Numali. Been trying to book this trip for 4 years. We had it booked, then COVID hit. We rebooked it 3 times. This is the 4th time, like they say, and we had it booked before. So like they say, the 5th time's the charm. The 5th time always works. Whatever, you know what it takes whatever it takes. So love you guys. So hopefully I'll be on. If not, I'll have someone sitting in for me, and have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.